Hi, I'm Neil Myers. I'm the author of ELYSIUM'S Passage. ELYSIUM'S Passage is a 5-part series of 5 novels that are about a young philosopher. His name's Dr. James Phillips. He's from London, and he goes to the Andes in the wintertime to mountain climb because it's winter break there at his school. 3 months prior to this, he has a dream. And now everything that he dreamt is happening as he's climbing the mountain, which is really quite peculiar. To the point he's on a ledge, and he's very, well, he's in a panic, because he woke up in a panic in his dream. And there he is. The ledge has got too narrow, and he doesn't think he can turn around now with his backpack without falling. He's not sure he can make it across the chasm, so he goes for it. Well, he doesn't make it. And he falls. And he falls, and he goes a long, long way down. And so he ends up in a hospital in London. Helicopter happens to see him. Wait for the camera. And so I think we've lost. Are we on? Hi, my name's Neil Myers. I'm the author of ELYSIUM'S Passage, a 5-book series of intrigue, fantasy, philosophy, spirituality, psychology, and romance. And I started writing these books about 4.5 years ago and have continued almost unabated the whole time. And we'll probably be continuing for another few years yet. This is my little friend right here, who's looking for a puppy. Yeah. And it will be a long story, and is a long story, about a young philosopher by the name of James. He's from London, and he goes on a mountain climbing trip during Christmas break. Now, before he goes on this mountain climbing trip, he has a dream in London. And now that he's on this trip in the Andes, and he's ascending a mountain, everything that he dreamed about is now coming as he climbs, right to the point where he wakes up on a ledge. And now he is on that ledge. And he is in a panic again because he can't turn around. Still looking for the puppy. So he goes for it. Come here, Octavia. Come here and sit on my knee. No. Okay. But he falls, and he falls a long ways. He goes down into a chasm, and he. Want to be in the movies? Yeah. Mommy's taking the movie. And he goes into a coma, and he is found by a helicopter that happens to go by, and he's taken to London. And his body's there for the next year. At the beginning of the 2nd chapter, however, we find that he's still climbing to the top of the mountain. And yet his body's in London. So he is in an alternate reality. I didn't mention that before he fell, he saw 2 bright white orbs at the top of the summit, on top of the mountain. This time, he vaguely remembers that, because this is a couple weeks later, except he doesn't know it. But they're 2 strange, not strange, they're just 2 ordinary looking men. And he doesn't know who they are, he's never seen them before, except he has, but not as they appear now. And they know him very well. He was very close to them at one time before they passed on. Well, they spend the next year on the summit, and they have these discussions. Now, he doesn't believe what they tell him. There comes a point where they trick him, and he finds out, and that's when the fun begins. If we forward 4 books now, end of the 4th book, he goes back into his body. A lot has happened in these 4 books. He's fallen in love, for one thing. You might wonder, how can you fall in love in a coma? Well, his body was in a coma, but we find that he was more alive than he ever had been before. So when he enters back into his body, he doesn't really believe what happened, but he comes to find out, indeed, there's a great deal that happened. Where are you going?
You gonna be right back? Okay. Yeah, the puppies aren't out here. The puppies aren't out here. No.
The premise. He's in a coma, but he's very much alive. Finds he's in a spirit body, and he finds enlightenment. Or he is on the way to finding enlightenment through the book. There are many questions that are raised in the discussion. At points may be a bit dense, but at other times it's quite humorous, and I think entertaining. So something for everybody. The book should be released at the end of 2017, I'm hoping. And the next book probably about 6 to 8 months thereafter. The second book is called ELYSIUM'S Adventures. No, the book is called Surreal Adventures. The series is called ELYSIUM'S Passage. Third book is Mystical Romance. And is there romance on the other side? You bet there is. Or you'll find out that, at least in this book, there is. Fourth book is The Elixir. This has a lot to do with how he ends up going back into his body. And the fifth book is called The Return, which is all about when he is back. And that's when the fun begins. And there's lots of intrigue. So, that's it. By way of introduction, I'll have subsequent videos to discuss. And if you have any comments after looking at the book, please respond on this website or on Facebook, and love to hear from you. Bye for now. Octavia, you want to say goodbye?
Bye.
Bye. For your mommy.
Little kiss in here.
Thank you.